Hello, everybody.
What up? What up? What up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown. Should I go this route? Yeah, I should have gone that route. Oh, man. I messed up. And welcome to tonight's edition of Late Night Rides, brought to you by the Riverfront, a member of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. And we are going to continue our positional previews tonight by talking some catchers. And Ben, there are far less catchers on the team than pitchers.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
Absolutely, my friend.
Yeah. So might not be we're gonna be probably dragging this one a little bit to kind of get some conversation up, but we're gonna make it through. But I'm
Well,
excited.
the chat's popping, so we may
That
get
is
some
popping.
stuff up there. So we may get things going, get some things rolling. So
Yeah. So I do want to start the show with some rumblings that that are going around. Ben, as you know, I'm one who is a big fan of the video game MLB The Show. I play it, I buy it every year. And there's rumblings that a certain current member of the Cincinnati Reds might be potentially on the cover of the video game this year.
Ooh.
And I'll give you a clue. His hair is very similar to yours.
Ooh. Okay. Dude, I tell you what. If there was going to be a person that there's only very few people that you could select that are young and up and coming talents that that would spark interest in buying the show if you're not a regular buyer of the show.
Right.
So like for like Madden, like the people that are on the front of Madden kind of drive the sales. So if you're gonna, and it's usually somebody that's up and coming, somebody that's gonna be the next big thing. So for Ellie at 22 years of age to already be a cover athlete for the show,
For the baseball game.
for the baseball game,
Yeah.
is an awesome sign. Once again, it's just telling everybody that we've got a gym here in Cincinnati with Ellie. Everybody in baseball circles know the potential of Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah. So Pat asked this. This is kind of funny. I meant to actually ask this to start the show, but Skyline ice cream from Graders tomorrow. You picking some up?
Oh, yeah. Man, I don't know, man. Listen. Like I like Skyline, I like Graders. Not sure if I'm ready to mix them.
I'm with you, dude.
It's just something that I'm just not. I don't know if I'm ready. Seth Shaner, yes sir. Go Bucks.
Yeah, I did order. It hasn't come in yet, but I am living up to my end of the bet. This is not an Ohio State sweatshirt. This is a Spider-Man sweatshirt.
Oh yeah.
But I did order a shirt, and so I'm just waiting for it to come in. So I'm still wearing my hat because I'm still very proud of what my boys did that night.
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little anxious about it. Will I try it out of curiosity? Probably. We even have Jeff Carr in the chat. We have both Locked On guys in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up, Jay Carr?
Jay Carr. We got Carlos hanging out tonight in the chat.
Okay.
I mean, whoa! Now the pressure's on.
What do you say? Hold on. What do you say? Oh.
He's a Texas boy, man. He's a Texas
boy. Come on, Carlos.
Yeah. We only have teams that play in the national championship allowed to be represented on this show.
Yeah.
But before we
scoot them along.
I'm kidding, Carlos. I love you. That's gonna be a really fun week 1 next year, Ohio State, Texas.
Heck yeah, it is. Because I'm telling you, this scares me to death that we lost our defense coordinator, but it scares me even more that we've got to open the season with a new defense coordinator and face Arch Manning. Like that's not fun.
Yeah, we lost ours too. But he's going to my NFL team, so
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. There's I guess the guy from Rutgers is in deep former Rutgers head coach is in deep discussion. That was a Ohio State defensive coordinator for a little while.
Yeah.
I wanted Mike Mickens to get promoted. I was really hoping that was going to be the route, but that's for a different show.
Yeah.
So before we do get into baseball talk, I have to do a little personal time here because today is my beautiful daughter's 2nd birthday. So to make sure we give a happy birthday, Iris. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun today celebrating her birthday, man, and she was like getting the idea of what it is, and we went to this place on Buttermilk Pike called the Play Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
It is, for those who don't know or don't live in the area or do live in the area and don't know what I'm talking about. It's like this like little like really cool thing where like for if you're an adult, you can buy like coffee or energy drinks or like snacks, and your kids play in these like huge scene setups where it's like a firehouse, a camping ground, and they just run through. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
yeah, it was really fun and so happy. So I'm really 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 excited.
Man, you have a 2-year-old. That's crazy.
Bro, coming downstairs.
Uh,
Coming downstairs to start the show, and Grace and I are talking about the day, and we're like, "Yeah, it was a really great day," and she literally goes, "Can you believe she's 2?" And I was like, "No. No, I cannot believe she's 2." Uh,
yeah.
so it was, crazy. We did the Build-A-Bear thing yesterday where they
Oh,
did a whole
yeah.
pay your age thing,
Yep.
which
Yep.
is cool, but what they don't tell you, and they're probably gonna censor me for this, is, accessories are not included in pay your
They're
age.
definitely not. Yeah, they're
No.
definitely not included.
No, so
Yep.
a $2 teddy bear turned into like a $30 purchase.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Because you got to have
So
the voice box in the heart. You know what I mean? It makes
so
it special.
she had to have the bluey pajamas, of course, for
Mm-hmm.
her bear. We just did the regular heart. We did not do the voice thing this time around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, by the way, Florence Mall probably should be imploded. That thing is
Oh,
awful.
dude, it's that's that's another conversation for another day. Yeah, it's a dismal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Hey Bob, you asked this question. We are legit trying to figure out a game plan. So once we have something set in stone, we will let everyone know. But all right, let's actually get the Reds talk now. Right, we're 7 minutes in. We haven't said a single thing about the Reds except for like Ellie being on a video game. Um, so here's the thing that's really hopping around before we get to catcher news and catcher discussion. Buster Olney wrote an article for ESPN this week, and he said the Reds are MLB's most improved team.
Mhm.
And so I am one who normally does not cater to ESPN because I think their content is terrible. But I
Yeah,
will say I normally do very much enjoy Buster Olney. I think he's really, really good at his job. And normally I
yeah,
think he has great
yeah.
insight and really good conversation. I think he has a lot to like that I agree with. But this, I'm not 100% certain where he's going with this. In the article, if you read it, he points out that they went and got Terry Francona, which was a great move. Obviously, he's like
Mhm.
they were the most aggressive team in the NL Central. I think the Cubs might disagree with that.
Mhm.
He's like, they did go get a good, really good starter on Brady Singer, and they go and get Gavin Lux, and yeah,
Mhm.
I think all those moves definitely improve the team. But most improved team in baseball when we obviously know what the Dodgers are doing, what the Mets did. Um, so, huh?
Yeah. Reading through the article, I can kind of see what he's saying because they did try to improve in certain areas. But as as we sit here as Red fans, we're still sitting here wondering. We still have questions about the bullpen. We still have questions about our outfield. We still have,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a lot of different questions as Reds fans. So when he writes that article, which like I said, I really like Buster Only, and I think he does amazing work. Um, but when you're looking at the Dodgers, which I don't know if anybody's really comparable to the Dodgers. I mean, but
Yeah.
you look at the Dodgers, you look at the Mets, you look at the Cubs, you look at some of these other teams that have made some other moves. Um, I think the Reds did a decent job of addressing issues without really addressing issues yet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like they make us feel good because they went and got Terry Francona, which we were all clamoring for, which is great, and we're super
We didn't
excited
think this
about
was
that.
possible. We were
Yeah,
like,
we
wouldn't it
did
be
not think it was.
cool?
Yeah,
Like,
we did not think it was possible. Didn't think it was something that was on our radar. So we went out and got him, which is awesome. I mean, we're super excited about that. You got and get a starting pitcher, which is something else that we talked about. You went and got a couple relievers, which is great. You get a guy that's won a World Series in Gavin Lux, which is fine. I mean, I'm all for that. But we still have not addressed the outfield issue. We still haven't really solidified the bullpen. So there are some things there that need to be done before I say, okay, yeah, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, Steve and I on the riverfront the other night, we talked about the Carlos Estevez rumblings. Um,
Mhm,
and we both kind of came to the agreement, and they talked about it on Lockdown as well, that they felt like it's a move that makes a lot of sense.
mhm,
But if you do that, then your outfield is what it's going to be and what we see it as, which means
mhm,
that, hey, Matt McClain's probably going to play center field. And you're like,
mm,
okay.
yeah,
But
no,
I don't know, man. I feel like I get where he's coming from in that sense, but I
mhm,
also cannot agree. And that's not to say that I don't think the Reds have gotten better, because I do.
mhm,
I just don't think they're marginally better. I wouldn't say most improved better. Now, you can sell me the argument that, like, well, Matt McClain's going to be back on the major league roster this year because he missed all of last year with injury. Okay.
mhm,
Um, you suspect that Nick Lodolo is going to be healthy. Suspect. I'm not
mhm,
guaranteeing that, because that is
mhm,
anything but, obviously. They bring in Brady Singer. Andrew Abbott's going to take a step forward. I agree with all that stuff.
mhm,
Um, but I don't know where I'm at on that yet. And I think Josh
yeah,
says here, Martinez accepting the QO pretty much shut the door on a big outfielder until possibly the trade deadline. And I agree with that, but I'm
yeah.
still happy that they brought Nick Martinez back. Like, yes, I would really
Oh
love to
yeah,
have,
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely,
I would really love to have like
absolutely.
a Taylor Ward, who we talked about a little bit last week.
Mhm,
But we'll get there. Surely the funds for, Joey, I agree with you on Grichuk and Hayes, but I do not want Ramon Laureano. I do not want him at all. Not my guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, Joey, I'm very sorry about what happened to the Commanders today. That was brutal. Harrison Bader. All right, Jeff. You're gonna say that madness, you might as well just come on the show. Jeez. Man. But
Uh,
yeah, so I am curious to see how it goes. But I
yeah,
did like it. So shall we talk a little catcher today?
yeah. Let's get it.
All right, let's
Let's get it.
recap. Let's recap catcher last year, just so we can kind of lead into this. So, the biggest one is obviously QB1, Ty Steve, and that's going to
Mhm,
be leading the way this year. Um, Potentially, best year of his career. Um,
mhm.
I don't know if I'd say breakout season, because
No.
I
Yeah,
think that's still coming,
yeah.
but I thought, was great, specifically after he had his baby. We're girl dads. We know what happens when
Oh,
you have a baby
absolutely.
girl.
It changes a man. You know what I mean? It
Yeah, it
changes a
changes the
man,
man.
no
Um,
doubt.
and so also it's so not coincidental that I criticized him for a little slump he had, and then all of a sudden got hot. So I will also take that as well.
Mhm.
So Luke Manley was the backup catcher who, I don't know, did he have a hit last year? Like,
Oof.
I know he
Oof.
had one, but I couldn't tell you when. So
Right.
Austin Wynn had a couple of games last year filling in. He was there. He's still in the Reds organization. But big picture is the catcher looks a lot better this year.
Mhm.
But pulling up Fangraphs predictions, they seem to think that Tyler Stevenson's going to take a step back. And I don't agree with that. I think that he's only going this way,
Yeah.
and I don't see him taking a step back. Now, is it possible? Sure. But dude, there's no way he's going to only have a 328 on base percentage. I don't see that as a possibility. I think, like, maybe I'm just selling him high, but I think he's going to be really good next year.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to lean that way as well. I, everything that he showed me last year is that he is starting to get completely healthy.
Yeah.
So if you remember Tyler Stevenson before the shoulder, I mean, he was trending really high. I mean, he was really good. Now defensively, he is what he is. Like we already know that. You know.
Hold on. This is just the funniest thing I think
Oh
we've ever had
wow.
commented on a show. David Brown said Elvis had more hits last year than Luke Maley. And
That's
look,
crazy.
we are big local Luke guys. We really
Oh yeah,
appreciate him, but
absolutely.
that's also probably a true statement.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, before he had the injury, he was trending really high. It like we talked about before, it takes a while for that to come full circle and get fully healthy. I think that you started to see true Ty Steve midway through last year towards the end of towards the end of the year is where I think he's trending as being a quality at bat. He's going to be able to get on base. I 328 is really low for an on base percentage, dude. That's really bad.
That's probably still going to be like top
So
6 catcher in baseball, but yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
like
like we've talked about before, the catcher position is not. I mean, you're not. There's not a whole lot of just dominant catchers like it
right.
was in the early 2000s. So um, I do think that he's going to trend upwards. I think that he is a guy that we're going to have to rely on in that lineup to be able to drive in probably more runs than he has before, get on base a little bit more, and do some of those things that we were seeing him do towards the end of the year. So, yeah, I expect big things from Ty Steve. I think he is a quality catcher. I think for the level of Major League Baseball, I think he's an all-star level catcher. I think he could be an all-star level catcher. Defensively, he's getting better. With the bat, he's getting better, and I think he's one of the leaders in that lineup.
Yeah. So Joey says, you don't think Ty's going to see time at first base? Uh, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And also, I very much hope not to. So
Yeah.
let's start there. Let's start with Tyler Stephenson. So, okay, I did say last year his on base percentage was only 338, but his OPS was 780. So
Yeah.
you take that, especially from the catcher position. He had 19 homers,
Hmm.
which was his career high. Um, he stole a base last year, which he somehow has 2 stolen bases in his big league career. But like, I'm not a great athlete. I think I might be able to beat him in a foot race. What about you?
I was going to say, yeah, I've got two bad knees and hips. I still think I could outrun Ty Steve.
Yeah. So was second in first career in plate appearances, second in at bats, most career runs scored, most hits, most home runs. Was just short of 20 home runs.
Hmm.
My bold is he's going to have 20 home runs this year. So I think realistically, other than like the obviouses of Ellie and McLean,
Hmm.
I think he's the part I'm the most excited for this year. I think that
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I really am like stoked to see what he does this year.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's going to help that his lineup is going to be really good. I mean, I do think that the lineup is going to be really good, and that will help him be better. I think that there's a level of play there, and I think defensively he's going to get there too, which I think will help. And people don't remember, but Terry Francona is catcher friendly. I mean, the guy knows the position, he's played the position, so he's going to be able to help in that sense as well. So I do think that there are a lot of things that will help. Um, and I do see him within that lineup. I think he's going to have a really, really good year this year because I think the lineup is going to be better.
Yeah, I do too. If he could just have like Jason Varitek come hang out with him for a couple weeks, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah.
Even though he's coaching for the Red Sox. But that's neither here nor there. So let's go to this part. So Ben, obviously it's an arbitration time.
Hmm.
And Ty Steve got a nice payday this offseason. Didn't go to like I don't think the Reds had anyone go to a hearing.
Mm-mm.
But Ty Steve got a nice payday. But my real question to start here, Ben, is should the Reds have signed him to a long-term extension this offseason? I'm not here to say they should have or shouldn't have. This is literally
Right.
generally open discussion.
Hmm.
If you look here to the right, I do have his Fangraphs page up. There is a lot of red on the hitting stuff.
Hmm.
There's a lot of blue on the catching stuff, and sprint
Hmm.
speed for a catcher might as well not be a thing. Um, and except for like Shea Langoliers had that one that has like kind of fast.
Yeah.
Ben Mesoraco is kind of fast first catcher for a little bit there. But that's neither here nor there. But this
Hmm.
is general open discussion. Just kind of curious your thoughts, Chad, if you want to throw in this as well. After what he did last year, would you have been comfortable if he had a long-term extension? Because like Nick's saying, he is playing for a contract.
Hmm.
Or are you in the boat of I want to see him do it another year before I give him long-term money?
Oh, that's a tough one, man. I I think that when you find a catcher that is serviceable and can do the things that he can do, I think that you want to hold up because I don't think that's a position that is. I don't think that's a position
Premium
where
position.
yeah. It's not a premium position. So when you find a guy that is as solid as Ty Steve is, I would think that you want to hold on to him for a little bit. But then on the other coin is longevity. You know what I mean? So like if you sign him to a 5-year deal and in year 2 he's garbage, you know what I mean? Like are you wasting money on a guy that where you're going to bring somebody else up or you're going to sign another guy or whatever the case may be. So I see both sides of it, but with his ability and the things that he's able to do, um I don't know, man. I it's hard to argue either way. I'm kind of caught in the middle. I wouldn't have been mad if they did sign him to a long term deal, but I'm also like I can see where he's in a contract year and it's a show me year. You know what I mean? So I see both sides of the coin. I don't know if that makes sense, but solid catchers are hard to find. Guys that can do the things that he can do are really hard to find. So if you got him, you may want to lock him up.
Yeah. So, do we have any money? Robert Bryant asks. Robert,
We don't talk about money.
there's always money in the banana stand. There's always money in the banana stand.
There's always money.
Um,
Yeah.
I've really contemplated this for months, really kind of thinking about it. I think I would have. And my reasoning is that catcher is really hard to come
Mhm.
by and find. Like Kerry
Mhm.
says, it's so hard to find a solid, consistent catcher.
Mhm.
And I mean, look at the Reds, like Sands. Mesoraga had one All-Star year, and then they ended up having to trade him to the Mets for Matt Harvey because he couldn't play. And you look at those like Ryan Hannigan years, which Ryan Hannigan was awesome as a defensive catcher, but
Mhm.
wasn't going out there and hitting bombs. And you look at the
Right.
rando catchers they had through the years, besides like Benito Santiago's like 3 1-year terms with the Reds. He's like the
Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder of baseball.
Mhm.
It's like, who have you been really excited about post Johnny Bench at catcher? Like Joe
Yeah.
Oliver? I mean, I like Joe Oliver, and he won a
Eddie
World
Toppinson?
Series. I mean, Eddie Thompson could rake. Like he could
Yeah.
hit for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, I mean, this is where you're at. And I think that when you kind of go up at his position, like I'm not saying he's Buster Posey. I'm not saying that he's, any of these amazing catchers of the years, but I do think he's very good.
Mhm. Yeah.
Jeff got my joke, so I appreciate that. So I would have done it. And the thing is, like, I think that in this circumstance, because of like the comfortability, I would at least sign with their arbitration, like they did in our
Yeah.
Green. Kept that battery group crew together.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I don't have an issue either way.
Yeah.
But if it were me, I would have if I was Brad Meter and crew, I would have kept him in town for
Yeah.
long term.
Well, I like you said, the position, it's your Bob Boone's, your Johnny Benches, those guys, that position is not as favorable as it once was. So like you said, to find one that is solid, that gives you the output that he
I can hit.
does,
Yeah.
that can hit and can do the things that he can. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be upset either way, but yeah, if they were to sign him, I would not be upset about it.
Yeah. David says here he's signed through next season. 2027 season could be a lockout for the entire year. I'm kind of counting on it at this point, unfortunately. I think baseball. I do. Cam Newton said that thing that like normally Cam Newton has takes that are extremely awful.
Yeah.
I do worry about the WNBA versus baseball coming up in the next couple of years. I really do. Especially with how like women's sports is rising, and it should be rising.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm all for Ty Steve. I cannot wait. Yeah, Joey, Eddie T was rad. I loved Eddie
Yeah.
Thompson. Sydney in the house. What's up? How are you?
What's up, Sid?
Good to see you. All right. So this offseason, one of the few moves the Reds did make that seems to help them be the most improved team in baseball was also getting a backup catcher, and a damn good backup catcher, realistically,
Mhm.
and Jose Trevino. And so,
Mhm.
Ben, I knew about him, obviously, from following baseball. I knew about his time with the Rangers. He goes to the Yankees. He's the backup catcher there. And
Mhm.
realistically, had one year where he was kind of the full-time catcher because of injury. He only had one time in his career he's caught over 100 games, but was really good.
Yeah.
And last year was pretty solid.
Mhm.
So this year he comes to Cincinnati, and everything Tyler Stephenson is not yet, as far as framing, as far as like being a great defensive catcher, Jose Trevino is, and everything
Yeah.
Jose Trevino is not as a hitter, Tyler Stephenson is, and
Yeah.
that's what you want from a backup catcher. You want
Mhm.
like the day that Tyler Stephenson needs a break, Jose Trevino can be there and pick him up. And like I think this is a great move. I really think, Brady Singer, Gavin Lux, those are obviously far more impact moves.
Right.
But this is a great move. This was a move the Reds got right.
Yeah.
So I asked this question, Ben, barring injury, this is a guy who's caught 100 games once. He's not got
Mhm.
to catch 100 games here. I think he caught 89 for the Yankees last year, if I remember correctly. Barring injury, how many games are you comfortable with Jose Trevino catching next season?
I mean, I'd be okay with anywhere from, gosh, 40 to 50, somewhere in there. I mean,
Hold on.
I,
You think he's only going to catch 50 games?
yeah. I mean,
Oh, you're Ty Steve Iron Man. I like it.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, when the catch position is it, it's about comfort, right? It's comfort and feel. So when you have a guy like Ty Steve that is controlling your pitching and your pitchers, like sometimes guys don't like different guys behind the plate, or
That's a good
guys
point.
don't,
That's
you
a
know what I
really
mean?
good
So
point.
there's, you know what I mean? So like people are comfortable with Ty Steve. Not saying that Trevino's not a good catcher. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that, there's a lot of comfortability with your pitching staff and who's behind the plate. And Ty Steve has a pretty great relationship with all those guys. So, you know, it could be more, it could be less, but Ty Steve's going to have to log some long days, because I mean, I think that's kind of where you're headed with your pitching staff.
I see what you're saying, but like other than like Sal Perez, you just don't
Hmm.
see that longevity of guys catching 130, 150 games
Right,
anymore.
right, right. Yeah.
Um, and so for me, I could definitely see Trevino catching about 70 games, and I
Okay.
think that's okay. Um, Now, could we see a situation where Trevino's catching more games and Stevenson DHs? For sure. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe I'm wrong, because Jeff has it here. Maley only caught 53 games last year.
Yeah.
Maley also couldn't hit the side of a barn, as we talked about earlier. Not that Trevino's significantly better as a hitter. I don't know, he might be, and still is not a great hitter. Like literally, if you look, I'll pull this up again for those who can't really see on his Fangraph page for Trevino. Um, Legit did not qualify enough
It
as a
didn't
hitter for
qualify
first
enough.
start. Yeah,
I did see that.
yeah. So,
I did see that.
but yeah, I mean, I guess maybe you guys are more right than I am. And so maybe I'm gonna eat crow on that one. But yeah, so Bailey and wins combined 60 games. So, but Stevenson was on paternity leave for a week there in that time as well.
Yeah.
Sydney, he's not happy. He's not playing first. Cut it out. I'm gonna Dave Coulier it. Cut it out. All right. So, yeah, we're not doing any of this. But I do think that was a really nice move.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, guys with his experience aren't around all the time, so to be able to pull a guy like that is actually a really good get for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I have not checked. Well, we have a tie in the AFC Championship with 6 minutes to go.
Yes, we do.
So I think it's gonna be a good group. I think that I think the catching position is gonna be really good. Those two at least.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm worried about, Ben. Catcher injuries are very common.
Yes, they are.
Who the hell's the third option?
Yeah. Yeah.
God forbid one of those two goes down for a certain amount of time. Are we looking at like Austin? So here pictured, for those who don't know, are Austin Wynns, who caught 7 games last year, and Matthew Nelson, who I have no idea how freaking close he is to the big leagues, guys. I don't pay attention.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at. Like, literally, I have no freaking clue who the heck the next guy is after this two. See, it says Will Banfield. Take your word for it. Couldn't point him out of a police line. Probably bad on my end. I'm sure that we'll have some people who come in here and are like, "You guys need to learn your farm system." But I don't know. On the Cavs show, we had people yelling at us last night about saying we cried too much about Alperen Sengun being a dirty player, but he is a dirty player. So yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, let's just hope that nothing happens to those two. Let's just do that. I mean,
Yeah, that's where we're at.
I'll be in that boat where we'll hope that nothing happens.
Yeah. So right here, Jeff says Tucker Barnhart spring training waiver claim, third time with the organization because he was in AAA last year for a short time.
Why not? Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. And my last question on catchers, because like I said, there's far less of them than pitchers, is about Alfredo Duno, who I saw in here that Nick said that on Caravan. Let me see if I can find the comment again. Asked about the player development about Alfredo Duno, and he said his comp is Salvador Perez, which, like, if we got Salvador Perez hanging out in the farm system, then, like, sign me up.
Hey, I'll take all that all day.
But also, as the Reds look to try to improve the Major League roster, people are going to be calling, like we said, catchers are not a dime a dozen by any means.
Right.
So, my general question, does Alfredo Duno end up playing for the Reds, or is he a guy that gets shipped out of here when they had to go try to make the team better? Because that's the guy people are going to call for. That's the guy people are going to ask about.
Yep.
Gosh. Those numbers are really good. I mean, last year had a really good year between Daytona and I don't know. Did he make it to Dayton? I don't think he made it to Dayton yet.
Mm-mm.
My thought process is yes. My thought process is that maybe he's ready by the time that we had to make a decision on Stephenson. He's too good of a hitter. He knows how to catch pretty well. And I don't know, you can make the case that he's like a top 5 catching prospect in baseball.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you got to keep in the system. I'm not like keep holding the prospect guys, but I do like him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's the same point we've made with all the rest of these guys is that you finding catchers is very hard, and finding good hitting catchers is even harder.
Yes.
So when you have one in your system, you've got to hold on to him.
Yeah. He has better hitting tools than Stephenson.
Correct. So I mean, if you have him there and he's in your farm system and you're looking at within the next 3 to 5 years or 2 to 4 years, whatever the case may be, of moving him through the system, and he comes to Salvi Perez, then you're not just going to give up on a guy like that. Especially when you know the shelf life of a good catcher is not long. So you might as well hold on to the ones you have now, especially if he's comping out that high. And then he's going to be with the big league roster within the next 2 to 4 years. So, yeah, you got to hold on to him, no doubt.
Yeah, still pretty raw. Has a lot of talent. Do you want to see him get a little bit more pop? I think that's going to come as he gets older and stronger.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, sky's the limit for him. He's super talented. And like David says here, like franchise catchers are so hard to find.
Yep.
I agree. So he brings up Grandal. I never had an issue trading Grandal because as much as he was an awful person, Matt Latos was really, really good for the 2012 Reds. And so didn't like how everything flamed out faster than possible. But yeah. He looked really good in that Long Island Ducks uniform, didn't he?
Woo!
I'll never forget. There was a stretch like when Dusty was the manager of the Nationals. He picks up Latos after he was with the Marlins. It's like 2 weeks before this, the Reds trade Jay Bruce to the Mets for Delson Herrera. And there's Sunday Night Baseball. It's at Citi Field. It's Mets Nationals. Latos comes in out of the bullpen, and Bruce just rocks a bomb off of him. And all you heard, like when people were talking about it, like his old Reds teammates were, "I'm really glad he hit it off that guy." It's
Oh
like,
wow.
damn.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So, I don't know if there's any other catcher questions we have here, but there are a few things we can get to in baseball before we get out of here because we hit all of our talking points with 35 minutes. And so, you want to talk about Ichiro? The one vote?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. So Steve and I
Let's
already
do it.
did quite a bit of it about why we let idiots vote on the Hall of Fame. But he did get in. He should have been unanimous. Derek Jeter should have been unanimous. All these guys should have been unanimous. So we're gonna like all these names, but yeah. So some idiot out there, some buffoon, wanted to be a smartass and say that Ichiro Suzuki was not a unanimous Hall of Famer. And excuse my language, but that's bullshit.
Yeah. It's a
It's a
honestly
stupid trend.
honestly it's a travesty, dude. It's an absolute travesty. And I think we were texting each other the other day, and I was just looking at Ichiro's numbers. I mean, first off, the guy played professional baseball literally for 30 years.
Yeah.
From 18 to 47 or 48. He played 30 years of professional baseball. And he had a span in Japan where he was just incredible. But his numbers the first 10 or 11 years in Seattle, like, my gosh, dude, he was lights out. So the one person that didn't vote for Ichiro, and I hate to say this, but like it had to be something derogatory, or he denied an interview, or somebody doesn't like that he played in Japan before he played in. It's always something
It's
dumb
always
like
some
that,
stupid
right?
thing. Yeah.
Like something stupid. So it's always something dumb like that. But for him, for Jeter, for Griff, like for guys that are no doubt Hall of Famers, like if somebody, that one person should lose their vote.
I am for that.
They should lose their vote. Like, here's the thing. You can't tell me with any kind of legitimacy that Ichiro Suzuki is not a first ballot unanimous. That's like looking at me and saying, you know what? That Ken Griffey Jr., he was good, but his last 2 years in the majors, he was terrible. So I'm not voting for him. You're like, what? Like, are you kidding? Like, I mean, that guy, I mean, he was incredible. So you're gonna look at that and be like, yeah, nah, I'm not feeling Griffey.
Dude.
He wore his hat backwards in interviews. That's just not American.
He blew bubble gum. He had Nike commercials.
He showboated on his swing. That's ridiculous. Like no, like you should not be allowed to vote.
That commercial was fake. There's no way he really chased down a fly ball in the desert from Yankee Stadium. That wasn't real. Can't get my vote.
Like, come on, man. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Like, it is just incredible. Like, and on top of it, like, the dude didn't even start in the major leagues and still had 3,000 hits. Like, what?
This is funny.
What do you want?
I hated people who said he was the real hit king, really, so I wouldn't vote for him. I said it.
My hit king.
My hit king. My hit king.
But yeah, like it's just, I don't know. Yeah.
So
people pick reasons because either like you said, yeah, he wore his hat backwards, or
wore Nike, bubble gum.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like that kind of bias should not dictate your vote for the Hall of Fame. And if it does, shame on you. Like that's the pettiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
For you to look up and say that guy is like, even Derek Jeter. Like I am of the claim that I think a certain red shortstop was better. However, that's neither here nor there. Derek Jeter is unanimous Hall of Famer, dude. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
He never won a regular season MVP, therefore he cannot get my vote.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like what are we doing? it's just crazy
Yeah.
to me.
So he gets in. Billy Wagner gets in. I thought
Yeah,
that was awesome.
yeah.
Here's my hot take for next year. This is what I would do if I was on the committee, because next year's first ballot group is not very good.
I was going to say I haven't looked at it.
The only guy that I think I would have a conversation about is Cole Hamels, and I'm not even for certain I put Cole Hamels in. Not to say he is Hall of Very good. I don't know if he is Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'd have to see his numbers. Yeah,
But
I'd have to look at his numbers. But I don't
my
know.
hot take would be that if I was in charge of the Hall of Fame, next year would be the year I put all the steroid guys in, because that class is going to be awful. Like next year's
Yeah,
the year that I'm like, Bonds, Clemens, McGuire, go on in.
all in.
Yeah, let's have a party for all
What's
of you.
the so like what are some of the names that are on there? Like I don't even know. Like honestly,
Ryan
I
Braun.
don't.
So Ryan Braun, which obviously he's not going to get in,
Yeah,
because of a lot of things.
yeah,
So let me pull this list up again, because I just had it the other day. So oh yeah, CC Sabathia got in. I love that.
yep. I do love that CC got in.
I mean, Carlos Beltran, the fact he's not in yet kind of shocks me.
Yeah,
You and I have talked a million times about Andrew Jones.
yep, should be in.
Yeah. So potential Hall of Fame ballot for 2026. So let me see. First time ballot. So Cole Hamels, Ryan Braun, Alex Gordon, Shin-Soo Choo, Howie Kendrick, Hunter Pence, Matt Kemp, Jason Kipnis, Rick Porcello, Jeff Samardzich, Chris Davis, Edison Volquez, Nick Markakis, Howie Kendrick, Daniel Murphy, Rick Porcello, Matt Wieters. That's awful. It's awful. Not that those guys were not good players. That's awful.
Wow.
Here's other guys that were on the ballot this year that have not gotten in yet. Andy Pettit, Bobby Abreu, Jimmy Rollins, Omar Vizquel. I probably wouldn't put Omar Vizquel in. Francisco Rodriguez, Mark Burley, David Wright, Torrey Hunter, Bobby Abreu, Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, Chase Utley, and of course, your usuals, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez. Yeah. Which I texted you this the other day, and I know a lot of people disagree with me on this, but because he was not a nice person, I would put Alex Rodriguez in the Hall of Fame. He was unbelievable.
He was incredible.
Guilty or not, he was insane.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah. So
Andrew Jones, or Andrew, my bad. Andrew Jones should be in as well.
1,000% be in.
Like I don't know what we're doing with that one, but yeah, he should definitely be in.
And while we're on the record, just because I had this conversation with Chad and Steven the other night, let's just go ahead and put Veda Pinson and Dave Concepcion in. All right, those two should be in. Yeah. So, but this is why we have these conversations, right? For this exact reason. I'm super stoked that Ichiro's getting in, one of my favorite players of all time. So, I talked about this the other day. Of my favorite players to ever play baseball, only one guy now, my top 5, is not in the Hall of Fame. And he was an MVP for the Cincinnati Reds. And he just retired last year. That's the only one I have left. Larkin's in, Griffey's in, Ricky Henderson's in, Ichiro's in. I think Randy Johnson's in. Yeah. Joey's the only one I got left. So the day comes that Joey's in Cooperstown, I will be there.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's only a matter of time. I mean, since he just retired. I mean, that's But then again, I mean, freaking Hall of Fame writers are idiots. So I mean, we're putting the fate of Joey Votto in the hands of people that are like, oh, he was just he cared about his on base percentage. Like, all right.
Yeah. He led the league in it 7 times.
Yeah, so, okay. All right.
I'm with you. What is going to be the excuse for Pujols to not be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Well, you remember that year he played for the Dodgers?
Yeah. Though, I mean,
or Miggy. Miggy's a Triple Crown winner.
Yep. Yeah.
He got a DUI one time.
Yeah, they'll find something, dude. It's like I said, baseball. I mean, baseball writers are humans, so they all have their flaws, and it could be anything. Like the guy didn't want to do an interview, or Pujols loves Jesus, so I can't vote for him. whatever, man. Like they just pick whatever. So it's like you just honestly don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. By the way, 468 people are tuning into us to just find things to talk about because
I love it.
yeah, for sure.
Thank you guys.
So I want to make sure I get this in real quick, just so everyone's in agreement, and knows what's going on. So 2 weeks from tonight is obviously Super Bowl Sunday. Do not count on seeing us live here because you guys won't be here either.
Nope.
So we will not be live that night. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of. I don't know, I'm not even gonna watch the game if it's the Chiefs.
I was gonna say I told my son today if the Chiefs are in it, I will not be watching.
Yeah.
I do want the. I mean, I don't have any hatred for the Eagles. I would actually, matter of fact, I would love to see Saquon Barkley win one. Just because my Giants are idiots and we fumbled the bag with him. But yeah, if the Chiefs are in it, I won't watch. I'm not going to sit there and watch 75,000 shots of Taylor Swift in the box screaming about Travis Kelce and his bad haircut and all this other crap that goes on. I just don't have. I just don't have time for it, and honestly, it kind of ruins the game for me. So,
I'm with you.
And that's like I said, I could go on a spiel for that forever. Like I'm just not, not feeling it. Not feeling the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is he's a blowhard. I don't like him. Like I said, Travis Kelce was one way, now he's another way. Cuts his hair all funky. They gave that guy a podcast, and he's Hollywood.
Yeah, he's Hollywood as hell, as Joe would put it.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. Football ended for me in the national championship. No matter if my team won or lost, I wasn't going to watch anything else after that because literally I watched the Bengals, I watched Notre Dame, and that's all the football I watch. So, yeah, I'm not this guy who like sits on the couch all Sunday and watch. I'm like, no. It's not for me.
No, and honestly, like I mean, I watch the Bengals because they're my hometown team, and I do enjoy Joe Burrow and all those guys. My Giants suck. So once until we get that figured out, like it's kind of like I do cheer on the Buckeyes, of course, but outside of that, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm with you. So yeah, we will not be here Super Bowl Sunday because you won't be either. So we're going to go ahead and enjoy that. But yeah, we've been in full swing from that until we always take off WrestleMania weekend. But normally we have people fill in for us that weekend. So it's not like there's no show. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. This was a lot of fun. It was a great episode. The chat, always buzzing, always a lot of fun. There were a lot of comments tonight that I did not get a chance to get to. I apologize. It's not that we were ignoring you guys. There was just such an active chat, which we were very grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely.
We will definitely be working on that this season to make sure we're keeping an eye on that. So keep you guys going. So it's spring training for us too,
Yep.
But we're going to go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you so much. Keep an eye out on everything going on with the Riverfront right now. Seth and I will be back tomorrow with Welcome to the Jungle. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I already did a show talk about Al Golden.
Sign T. Higgins.
Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna be the whole show tomorrow. How can they sign? I guess I'll start looking at mock drafts. I guess I gotta do that.
How can we afford to sign T. Higgins and also bring in 7 defensive players?
Yeah.
Let's figure that out.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna start looking at mock drafts tomorrow. So we'll be doing that. Seth has a potential really nice guest for other ground table. I'm really excited about that. We'll get the details out soon. Check out the guys over at Red Brick Recap on the Riverfront U channel, talking about the Miami Redhawks. Jack and Ted are doing a great job there. Just took their first MAC loss to Akron this weekend, but they're having a really good year.
But dude, they're playing lights out, dude. That Redhawk team is pretty good. They're pretty good.
And of course, you can check out everything on riverfrontcincy.com. Ryan Roberts over there doing UC work. Still looking for a Xavier writer. They've had 2 really good wins this past 2 weeks. We've had no coverage on it. Breaks my heart. So if you're interested, reach out to us. But on behalf of Ben Brown, this is Tim Daniel. Everyone, thank you so much. Have a great night, and we shall see you soon.